Hey everybody! Today we're going to talk about digital ownership. Do you really own anything online?
Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
The looming threat of the TikTok ban sparked fear in millions of users across the United States. Before the app went dark, creators were frantically urging each other to download the TikToks that they had created onto a personal device.
You gotta download your TikToks. It's time to download your TikToks.
This hard drive has all 6,130 videos I have ever posted on TikTok.
Because even if you're the person who created the content, that content still lives on someone else's server. The majority of TikTok users aren't creators, but I can bet that you're probably a collector. Losing TikTok means losing the tens of thousands of videos you've liked, the For You page that you built brick by brick, and all of your saved lists of recipes, workouts, and ideas that you planned on returning to. TikTok was only down in the US for a few hours, but this brief loss shows us just how little ownership we have over the digital spaces we build online. If everything we built on this app over the past few years could just be taken away overnight, then we have a serious problem. And it's not just TikTok. Things we used to own, like the physical copies of our favorite movies, TV shows, and albums, are now primarily accessed through streaming services. And as a result, true ownership of these media has largely disappeared. How did this happen? Let's start with Steve Jobs, former CEO of Apple. Steve Jobs understood that software was the future, and he fundamentally changed the way that we distribute media through iTunes. The initial idea for iTunes is that it would be this digital record store. Selling music digitally without a brick-and-mortar music distribution center would remove all kinds of redundancies in the music industry. Steve Jobs said it best. Here's him explaining the idea before he developed it during a speech in 1983.
Most people walking into a record store know exactly what record they want to buy. They don't go up and say, "What record should I buy?" They know exactly what record they want to buy because there is the phenomenon of the radio station, so that we make our decisions before we go in to the distribution center for the records. We need the equivalent in the software business. Software is information, and the information is expressed with a bunch of ones and zeros. And what we do now is we take those ones and zeros and we encode them magnetically on this piece of mylar with a bunch of gook on the surface of it that remembers the ones and zeros. We take it, we put it in a package with a manual, we take that, we put it on a truck, we ship it to a dealer, they take it out of the truck, they put it on the shelf, it sits there for a while, costing them money. A customer comes in, peruses them, and picks one out, takes it home, shoves it in their computer, and it translates it back to electrical impulses of ones and zeros. Now, I mean, that's a pretty long path. Where we'll be going is transmitting this stuff electronically. We'll send tones over the phone that the computers will understand and go directly from computer to computer. That's what we'll be doing.
While it may seem like an obvious idea today, selling music directly from computer to computer was a revolutionary idea at the time. The first version of iTunes was released in March 2001.
iTunes for Windows is probably the best Windows app ever written.
And as the public began to digest this new way of purchasing media, the software was applied to other industries. 5 years later, iTunes started selling TV shows, movies, and computer games. Thanks to iTunes, consumers have way more access to media than they ever did before, when they were buying from their local record store or bookstore. This gave consumers an appetite for variety. When I was a kid, every time new music was released, we'd have to buy it on iTunes, either 99 cents for each song or about $12 to $15 for the whole album. It just started to feel expensive to pay $12 for every album. That's the price of 1 month of Spotify today, where you can get millions of albums. But here's the key difference. You don't actually own the Spotify album. It felt normal that CDs were around $12 when we were buying the physical CD because you got an actual product. You know, you got a physical copy, you got a case for the CD, and usually it came with some fun branding, and maybe they had the lyrics on the inside of the CD case. You probably even got a conversation with a store associate who helped you locate the CD in their store. But now you're expected to pay the same price for just an MP3 file. Consumers didn't want to pay CD and DVD prices for a digital product. And that's where piracy came in. Enter the pirates.
Can you download the Foo Fighters?
Yeah. Hold on. You know it's illegal to download copyrighted music. I'm taking you in.
Even though it was illegal, websites like LimeWire, Napster, and 123 Movies became super popular, all because they offered pirated movies and music. If you're really interested in the story of how pirating led to the era of streaming, you should definitely watch this TV show on Netflix. It's called The Playlist, and it talks about how Spotify was born. It's definitely worth the watch. So, piracy led to the streaming era.
Go to Netflix.com.
Netflix. All the movies you want, $20 a month, and no late fees.
Streaming became so popular because it gave the viewer variety and choice, all for an affordable price. Streaming movies is amazing because you don't have to watch the same old movies that you own over and over again. You can watch a huge collection of movies for just a fraction of the price. Plus, you don't have to own every stupid movie you want to watch. You can just stream it, watch it halfway through, and then hop around to something new. It's all included. Today, we engorge ourselves on entertainment, of both good and bad quality. But this endless buffet of content options is more costly than it may seem. Sure, the upfront cost is low, but we're paying these streaming services for years. And because of streaming, there's less opportunity to own what you love. Apple discontinued the iTunes Store in 2019, which is sad. We still have the App Store and Apple TV to purchase and own media, but what's available for purchase on these OG digital ownership stores is dependent upon the streaming service's contracts. For example, Friends was a wildly successful TV show, and after it aired, they released a DVD box set for fans to buy so that they could watch their favorite characters whenever they want, forever. It probably cost like $40. It was a one-time cost for a physical product. But once Netflix added Friends to their streaming collection, it was no longer available for purchase digitally anywhere else. Because of streaming, Friends has had a little bit of a revival, and now there's a new generation of fans who loves those characters and the show. But these viewers are my age, and they don't own DVD players. Therefore, if they like Friends and want to watch it now and for years to come, that means they're gonna have to pay Netflix now and for years to come.
So, we win.
But Netflix doesn't have to make Friends available to you. And this actually happened. In the US, they took Friends off of Netflix in 2020, and everyone freaked out. The contract ended, and the TV show was officially up for grabs. It was a hot commodity for streaming services at the time who wanted the watch hours. So who gets to house the show? Who gets to own Friends? Certainly not the viewer. Why charge people a one-time fee when they can collect a monthly subscription fee for years over a TV show that ended over 20 years ago? Kind of a slam dunk if you're Netflix, but not if you're a fan of Friends. We lost the right to our favorite TV shows and movies. Our access to our favorite media is pretty much dependent on whether large media companies and streaming services want to give it to us. Streaming brought us unparalleled access, but we should view this as an alternative to buying, not a complete replacement. We still need to own things. Everyone's heard that buying a home is a better investment than renting one under normal market conditions. But why don't we apply the same logic to our digital assets? We need to stop renting our favorite entertainment and start owning it. Streaming services rely on getting us addicted to novelty, or by cornering the market so that ownership opportunities aren't even available. It seems that everything is in a subscription model these days, even places where you thought a subscription model might not be possible. Like on Amazon, you can subscribe to toilet paper. If you buy a Peloton, you're gonna have to pay a monthly fee to continue to have access to the digital workouts. There are even subscription services to help you cut down on your excessive amount of subscription services. God, so ironic. Before you know it, your monthly paycheck is getting eaten up by a greater fraction of all these streaming services and subscriptions you have. And you feel powerless to the rate increases of subscription services and automatic renewing payments. We may not always have a say in where our favorite TV shows or songs are going to go, but if we do have a comfort TV show or an album that we love returning to, it might be in our best interest to buy it. Plus, a lot of times, buying it directly instead of streaming it provides a lot more support to the people who created the art, rather than the streaming companies. Another reason to own the things that you enjoy is because of something called the digital dark age. This term refers to the risk that we face of losing access to information stored digitally. One of the fathers of the internet, Vint Cerf, currently vice president and chief internet evangelist at Google, talks about the risks for this potential digital dark age often. As it turns out, storing things digitally isn't a bulletproof system because we're constantly changing the ways in which we access software. Think about how many times Apple has changed the shape of your phone charger, rendering old phone chargers absolutely useless. The same thing happens with hard drives filled with important information. Like, floppy disks are completely useless now because nobody has a computer that can read the information on a floppy disk anymore. We've already lost big pieces of digital history. Like, we lost access to the first web page ever built, because at the time, we didn't know that the internet was going to be a big deal. In 2013, some smart tech people tried to restore it, but this example just shows how easy it is to lose history digitally. There's no such thing as a foolproof method at this point. My advice to you would be to keep your computer as organized as possible, so that when new technologies do come out, you can easily convert your important information and documents to the new technology. But we also don't know how things are going to shake out in the future. It seems like the most important of information still should be printed and locked away in a fireproof safe. There's no guarantees at all in this world. We just have to try our best. Now, before you go analog, at this point in the video, you're probably fed up with digital media. It's hard to preserve, streaming companies have us over a barrel, and if YouTube goes out of business tomorrow, I could lose all of my hard-earned views on this video in an instant. But despite the challenges we face today, the evolution of technology offers incredible potential. We witnessed the shift of physical to digital media. We saw online communities explode, and we gained the ability to access content from anywhere in the world. While we may not own everything we consume, the opportunity to connect, learn, and grow feels limitless. So I'm still pro technology. What do you guys think? Is it okay that we don't actually own anything on the internet? Or do we need to change? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!